Well, happy Christmas everyone. I mean, it's not Christmas while I'm recording this, but it is going to be Christmas Day when I publish this video. And yeah, I really hope you're having a lovely day. If you join me on Christmas Day, then wonderful. What a wonderful thing it will be to share Christmas with you. But if it's after Christmas when you get to this, I hope that your day was brilliant. I'm sure that mine's going to be. I'm very excited. Rosie is also very excited. And this video is about something which is going to be presented to Rosie on Christmas Day. So today, as this is being published. The miniature that I've 3D printed came from Dungeons and Dreadnoughts and is awesome. It is a Cyber Santa on a rocket sleigh, and I've had a lot of fun painting this and also creating a scenic base for it, which is what mostly is what this video is about. Now, the other part of that, the painting video, is going to be published on my An Average Painter channel at the same time, and it will have a link up here somewhere and also in the description and potentially in the first pinned comment as well. So yeah, if you want to see how I painted it, see the colors I used, etc., the full process, then there's a time lapse going up over there. But otherwise, maybe watch this video and go and check that out, or go and check that video out now and come back to this one, because that's how it kind of works. That's how the timeline went. But anyway, I really hope you enjoy the video. I hope you like this little model, this little bit of fun, and I cannot wait to see Rosie's face when she sees it on the Christmas dining table at dinner time later on today, again as this video is being published. So thanks for watching, leave me a comment, I'll see you again at the end. Can Santa arrive in time? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? Because I printed this last night and I'm going to start painting this up with the aim of having a little diorama for the Christmas dining table. So this is from Dungeons and Dreadnoughts. I've done a few videos recently. They just had a very successful Kickstarter campaign for Cyber Dynasty, and that was great. I printed up and painted one of the miniatures from that, which is really good. And I've got a fair few things that I've done of theirs before as well, including the massive dropship diorama, which also we love. So yeah, this is something from their tribe, and it's a cyber Santa Claus with a rocket sleigh. So I'm actually going to prime this using my German red-brown primer, which I don't use very often at all, but I think that would work well for the red miniature, and I also just want to try it out. So I'm going to give that a go. I might prime the presents with the normal grey, but yeah, I'm going to prime both the rocket sled and Santa himself in the grey, in the red. However, I will need to stick Santa down to a stick. So I'll do that, let that dry before I prime, because super glue and paintbrushes don't go well. But at least I can start to prime and paint up the sled. I will be doing snow effects and all sorts of fun on this, and I'll bring you along and we'll get this done, and hopefully this will be ready before Christmas. And you'll know, because if I do, then the video will be up before Christmas. Angry Santa is all primed up, as you can see, with this slightly different primer to what I'm used to using, but hopefully it's going to work. I've got all of the presents, I've got his sled and Angry Santa himself. So I'm going to go down now and start painting that. As I said, I want to get this done before Christmas, and it is the 23rd today, no, 13th today even. So I have about 10-11 days to get this finished, including the base. So I'm going to get cracking and get this painted up, and I'll show you a little bit about that. I'm probably not going to, actually I don't know, I can't decide. I might do a paint along. It does slow me down a bit. So I might do a paint along video, I'm undecided, but at the very least I'll show you a few progress updates on this channel with how it's going. So yeah, let's get on with it. This is where I've got to at the end of the first session, painting on for this awesome Santa Claus. I had a lot of fun, but I got very tired, so I've come back now just at the end of the day. I'm going to get a little bit of time to paint before I'm cooking tonight, so I thought I'd just do a little bit more. I am filming this, so this will appear on the An Average Painter video channel, which is going pretty well, so thank you to everyone that's watching it. So yes, I'm going to get stuck into this now and add a little bit more detail. As you can see, we've got bronze, we've got gunmetal blue, and we've got silver. And I'm actually looking at this, and I think I'm going to paint some more stuff silver today, and then I'll go back to working on Santa Claus himself. And right now I'm about to start printing out a Grinch as well, so we might have Santa Claus and Grinch going on the dining table, but we shall see how well that goes, and that will come to the channel as well when it does. So yeah, I'm going to keep painting on this and get a little bit, and maybe spend an hour or so now. I've got a little bit of time, spend a bit of time painting this, and as I said, it'll be being filmed for one of my time-lapse videos on An Average Painter. Well, I finished painting these up, and yeah, he's looking great. Really pleased with how that's looking. So next up I'm going to work on a base which is going to be snowy, and it's going to have the him standing on the sleigh with the presents, which are actually ammo cases, and then zooming towards the air, so at an angle. So that's going to be fun. I'll gather together my materials and bring you along for that. Well, I've been thinking about what I'm going to do for this diorama, and I've come up with an idea which I'm going to try out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a roof for him to be flying off of. So I'm going to make use of some of this XPS here. It's very hard XPS, which is really good. And I'm just going to cut that at 45 degrees, which then means I'll be able to make a pitched roof. And I can glue that together. I can then put the roofing tiles on it, paint it, and then once that's done I can put my snow effect on it, and he can be attached to the roof, either going along the side, or if I put a proper ridge on it, I can glue him along the ridge. I'll work that out when I get to it. But for now, what I'm going to do is spool up my Proxxon with the angle attachment and give that a cut. So I'll move the camera over and show you how that works. I'll just slice this down so that it's 60mm deep, which is what I want. And I've got this set up to 45 degrees, and it's as simple as turn it on and push it through. And just make sure that you keep it moving and make sure that it stays completely flush, and then that cuts a nice 45-degree angle. So do the other one. Oops. There we go. And if we put that together, we have a nice looking roof. So let's go back over and make sure I've not made that too small. Well, there we are. As you can see, that has worked fine, and it is actually the right size, which is also good. So what I'm going to do now, just quickly glue this together and let it go off overnight, and then I will crack on with this tomorrow if I get time, which I might do. I might do a little bit more actually. There might be a few bits I can do while I'm waiting for this to dry. So I need to make the shingles for it, obviously, and I'm going to hand make those out of cardboard. So I can potentially make those now. So I just need to make runs as long as this is wide. There we are. And I also need to make the end piece, so the boards that will go there. So I might get onto that now as well. But otherwise I'll just let that to dry, and then tomorrow I can glue the shuttering on, glue the shingles on, or the tiles, whatever, and then paint it, and then put the snow effects on, and then stick him in place, and then done. So it sounds easy, doesn't it? But let's see how quick I do manage it. But yeah, I'm going to go get some cardboard, and I'll show you how I'm going to make these shingles. Right, so this is super simple. What I've got here is some Rice Krispie packet, and I've marked 2 centimetre notches here, so I can cut 2 centimetre strips just using a sharp knife and my safety ruler, which is absolutely the best tool ever to buy. Not sure if I'll do 2 centimetre, I might trim them down a bit more. So let's have a quick look at what that looks like before I cut any more out. To be honest, that's probably enough anyway for what I need. So I'll just quickly cut these out and have a look at what they look like. There we are. So we've got the first strip out. So let's offer that up against the roof. Actually, I think that's going to be about right, because I'm going to be overlapping them, obviously. So yeah, that's about right. So I'm going to keep cutting a few more of those sides out, and then when I've got them all, trim them to the length, and once I've done that, then I'll come back and show you the next step. Right, so I've got enough for one side here, and what I'm going to do now is show you how I'm going to do how I'm going to do this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I've measured 1.5 centimetre centres, and what we're going to do is we're just going to cut out little triangles and also cut the end, and that will be our first course. So you're going to do alternating like this basically. So the first course is going to have on simple 1.5, and maybe do it a little bit bigger than that one, so I might do that one again. But for this, scissors are by far the easiest way to do it. Doesn't take very long. I mean, if you've got to do loads of these, then you can make yourself a jig and all sorts. But as soon as then you have to do like, what, 5 a side, it's not that many. So that's the first one. The second one is going to be offset because you overlap the tile, you overlap roof tiles. So I'm going to offset it by a half and actually by 3/4. Sorry. And then mark the centres again. There we are. Oh, and I need to mark the first one. Don't forget that one. So I'll do the same for this, just cut these little triangles out. There we are. And when you overlap those and overlay those, you can see that they offset nicely and will look really nice together. So I'm going to keep doing that now. Just get these cut off, get this side done, and then the other side done, so I end up with 10 on the side. And yeah, then we'll look to sticking them onto the actual roof like this. So the only other thing that we're actually going to do, let me just mention this as well, because I'll do all this together, is we're just going to snip up, not all the way, just a little bit like this, so you end up with tabs from the centre of the V. Cool, so I'll get all of these done. Once I've got all of the roof tiles done, I'll bring you back, show you how I'm going to glue them in place. Right, so now we're going to get this all stuck together. And I haven't actually looked at this Copydex for a long time. Yeah, my Copydex is still okay. Good, so I'm going to use Copydex. I was going to use PVA, but I think Copydex is going to be a better idea. So we'll smear some Copydex all over this. Actually, I think the applicator's broken. Don't think that's what the applicator should look like. Yeah, so anyway, that's a bit of a shame. I think maybe it's been quite a while since I've used this. So I think that what's happened is the brush has got stuck inside the bottle. So I might need to do something about that. So bear with me while I apply this. I might put some out onto my tray, my little thing, and then use a tongue depressor to scoop it up and spread it around, which I have right here. I think that's going to be a better idea. Yeah, that's a better idea. There we are. So we're going to smear some Copydex on, put the roof tile strips, which I prepared last night now, but a couple of seconds ago for you. There we are, perfect. And I've got these numbered, nice and organised. So we'll put one on, and we'll clamp that just at the bottom. So we'll clamp that like that. I'm not going to clamp it where it's going to overlap, because obviously what I'm then going to do is put a little bit more Copydex. These are not right, so we'll just do that. Well, these were annoying, it keeps flipping round. No, I'll do it that way around. So, clumsy as I am. There we are. So we'll then put a little bit more Copydex just over the top and layer it up like this. So I will get this, continue to do this all the way, and I'll show you what it looks like when this side is done. So here's number 2, and onwards and onwards. So we'll do that, stick it in place like so, get a clamp, put it over where it's overlapping this time, and that will just hold it in place, and onwards and onwards. So I'll repeat that process get this all done, and I'll show you what it looks like when I've got all this side done. I'm not going to have much time because Rosie's downstairs playing nicely, because this is a surprise for her. So I've told her to get it done before Christmas. So I've got to better get on with this and go back downstairs and join her. Wow, that copy deck is awesome. I bought it for the model railway and forgot I had it until that second, and wow. So I didn't need to pour it out at all. What I've done is I've just used this, and I'll probably keep this now with the copy decks. I've just used that as a little spatula to apply it. And as you can see, I have that one side done. And Rosie did come up looking for me, so I better get back downstairs. So yeah, wicked. I'll leave that to set, and then we'll do the other side, which will be exactly the same, so I won't show you how that works, how that goes. I'll just get on with that, and I'll bring you back when I come to the final part of the roof, which is going to be doing the top. So I'll show you how I work out the whatever it's called. Can't think of it off the top of my head right now. As soon as I stop recording, I remember. Whatever. There we are. Right, onwards. Let's go play with Rosie. Alright, so this is all dry and set, and here is my ridge tails, which is what the word I was looking for. And so I've just cut a strip which is also 2 centimeters wide, done the same thing with the little notches, but I've not cut any vertical cuts just because I don't want to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it on with copy decks again. Seriously, best thing ever, remembering I had the copy decks. So we'll take the copy decks that we can off of the stick, like this. And then it is smelly though, copy decks, goodness me, it stinks. And then we'll take my tongue depressor and cover the whole of it like that. And then I'll clamp it in place, leave it half an hour or so, it doesn't take long to set. And then I'll do the other side. And once that's set, we can start painting it. And the best way to clamp this is with one of these clamps. Oh, there we are. So yeah, clamp that in place, let that set, and then when that side's done, because obviously I can't really, oh, I need to come in from the side. I've bent my, that was careless. Take that one off. Because what I've done is I've bent my tile there, so I need to come in from the sides. Oops. Right, so when that's set, I will do the other side, this side, and then when that's all set, I'll bring it back and we'll look at painting it. I've also actually printed out, not painted yet, but I printed out some more of these kind of type presents. So I've just primed them, which is why my hand's got primer on it. So yeah, so I will. There will also be a little more presents, a little bit more stuff in the sleigh, and I'm really loving how this sleigh is looking. I think it looks really, really cool. Anyway, I'll be back shortly to show you how I'm going to paint the roof. Well, the ridge tails are now secured. As you can see, I used a fair number of clamps, just 4 clamps, just to make sure that it was all held in place. And that, oh, struggling to get this one off. There we are. That is now looking brilliant. So there's my roof. So the next step is to do the little end walls. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of this square here. And it's going to be as simple as setting the square in, marking where I want the walls to come down, from there to there, cutting in a straight line across here, and then doing the same kind of, getting a 90 degree here, and I'll have 2 end walls which I will scribe on with some blocks. So how am I going to get that 90 degrees? I don't know. I'm just going to hopefully get it right. But one idea that I did have, which if it works will be rocking and rolling, is to use my set square, hold everything in place and draw down like that. And I think that instinct has worked out and is actually going to be correct. So we'll do the same side. Oh, get everything right. Not so easy being right-handed to do this side. It's a bit more difficult. I have to come round and hold it like that. There we are. Oh, it's not wanting to stay very stable. There we are. It bent a little bit at the end, but I've got enough that I can continue that. So what I'll do now is cut that out, and then get the 90° correct there, and then glue it in place using probably the same glue again, because yeah, man am I loving that. And then when I come to do the scribing, I'll get the camera running again and show you what that looks like. But for now, let's get this cut out and get both sides shaped and get it glued in place. Actually, maybe I'll do the scribing before I glue it in place. Either way, I'll be back when I come to do the scribing. Right then, so I've finished doing the walls. I've just loosely pinned these in place for now, just so I could test it fitted right, and it does. So we'll take these out. I will make use of these dressmaking pins when I actually do the final fit as well. But yeah, so we'll take those out, lay these down, and what I'm going to do now is start scribing, and then I will show you how I'm going to do all the painting. And I'll assemble it and then paint it all together. So once I've assembled, once I've done all this, then I'll do my assembly, and then I'll do the painting, and then we'll do the snow. So I've got this, did that way around. I've got this this tool, which is just a normal sculpting tool, and as simple as you just kind of like draw your bricks in. Doesn't take very long, and it works really well. Remember to offset your bricks, and then when we come to do the painting, we can dry brush this and you'll see the bricks nicely. Or I might even do something a bit special on this, thinking about it, so the bricks will have mortar between them. It's been a little while since I've done that technique, so it'd be nice to do it again. So yeah, so I don't need to worry about doing two sides or going over the top, because this will be hidden by the overhang. So all I need to do is that on all of these, and then I'll bring you back when I'm about to do the gluing. So yeah, pretty cool. Well, there we are, that's got the texture done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue it together. So I take my little pins, which will help to keep this rigid. And the first thing is just to start a couple off. If you do this, you'll find it much easier. So start a couple off, try to make sure they're going through totally straight if you possibly can. And then once you've got them started off, what we'll do is get a little bit of grabby glue. Make sure I put it on the correct end. There we are. A little bit of grabby glue. And then, again, trying to make sure that everything is square, though you do have some adjustment opportunity here. What we'll do is we'll push that in place. And then we keep going on round all the four sides that we want to do. So we'll put another couple of pins through here. Get this side glued on, and then do the other end gable, and then I'll glue the roof on. So I'll get these done and I'll bring you back when I'm about to do the roof. So just to make sure that those pins aren't sticking out, I make use of this awesome tool which has a nice flat end on it, and I'm pushing the pins right the way in, so they're not going to get in the way when I start painting and become annoying, but they are going to really help to hold this together. And you do want to do this before you start painting, because you have put glue on, you don't want to affect your glue and your fit. So now you can see how that really works nicely. So we're going to use some more grabby glue. I'm not using Copydex for this bit. This is what grabby glue is perfect for. And we're just going to run the bead down the cables here, like so. Press it on and leave it to go off, and then I'll bring you back very shortly for the painting. Very shortly in your time, probably in a couple of hours for me for the painting. And there we have it. We have our little building for Santa Claus on his rocket sleigh to land on. How cool's that? Right, it's time to paint this. Just left it probably about an hour or so, and that's set well enough for me to paint it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to slap black house paint on, which is what's in here. As per usual, when I'm painting early afternoon or hobbying early afternoon, the sun is coming in, streaming in, probably making the shot all that great, but all I'm doing is slapping black paint over absolutely everything. This is to make the colours, make the shadows have some depth, and also to fill in and hide any gaps. So it just gives it a little bit more, makes it a little bit easier as we go forwards. And I might do 2 coats of black. I'll see how well the coverage is once it's dried, because you really don't want any of that green showing through. So yeah, get this painted black, let it dry, make sure it's completely done and dusted, doesn't need to have any more black paint on it. And then, well, we're going to come up with some grout, which I'm using a lot of at the moment, but I have a really cool way of doing the mortar between the bricks, which looks great, and I want to show you it. So yeah, that's not filming very well, but you get the idea. Slap black paint all over it. I'll be back in a bit. Right, the black paint's dried. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make use of my tile grout mix, which I've got here already in front of me, and I'm just going to paint that all over the bricks, just like this, and that will go into the gaps and make a nice grouty colour, which will then look like mortar. And then I can come along and add a different colour over the top, and that will then look like bricks. It's a really quick, cheaty way of achieving what I'm trying to achieve. So yeah, that's how I do it. So I'll get this all painted on. It'll only do 1 coat because all I care about is that it goes into the gaps, and then I'll come back a bit later on. This dries quite quick as well, and I'll be able to apply the colour to the bricks. Now this bit here I'm going to do wood, so that'll be done brown, which is why I'm avoiding it now. And yeah, let's I'll get this done. I'll stop filming now because it's all the same, and bring you back when I come to the next step. Right, my grout is dried, so now I've got my brick colour, and what we're going to do is paint each brick. Now when I did this before, I did it with dry brushing, but I don't think my indentations are deep enough on this, so we'll just do each brick, which won't take that long, and that leaves the grout colour in the middle. Now if you don't have grout, then of course you could do this with 2 types of paint. You could get yourself some kind of like mortar-y grout coloured paint, which I have done this technique with before like that as well, and it works well. I just wanted the extra texture. Oops, I'm getting some red on what's going to be wood, but that's fine, I can tidy that up. But you can see just how effective that is. Really, really quick, and you've got a brick wall. So I'm going to carry on with that, do the rest of the building, and then, oh no, I just needed to do it flat. There we are, how about that? I forgot my own technique. So just pull the brush down flat. That's super quick. Look at how quick that is. Haha. Isn't it funny how when you forget your own technique? Just have the brush, a very stiff brush, but flat, and you get bricks. So I will do the rest of the building now, and that won't take very long at all. And then we'll do the wood, and then we'll paint the actual tiles, and then it's going to be snow effects, which is what I'm very much excited for. I've not done snow effects since last winter. There we are. How about that? So easy to get a really nice red brick effect with a mortar in the middle. Perfect. Right, let that dry. I'll come back in a bit. We'll do the wood and the roof. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint the roof. I'm going to come in on that. I'm going to paint it grey, and I'm going to do it by brushing down only. Oh, that got stuck to my brush. So that's what I'm going to do, and that will mean that I retain the shadows that I want, and it also gives a little bit of an interesting kind of texture to the tiles. Now these will largely be covered up by the snow effect, but it's nice. It's like with people that model interiors on model railway buildings and then glue them up, no one can see them, or do the interior of a tank or something and then cover it up, never to be seen again. You know you've done it right, and that's a nice feeling. So there we are, I'll let that dry, and I might come along and dry brush it a bit with some of the lighter grey, but I might not bother. I might leave it like that. There we are, it's coming on this. Next up, let's get the wood done. So I'm going to make use of my raw umber and a smaller brush. So we'll stand this on its end just to make it a bit easier, and again just carefully paint that on just to make it so it's not black. There we are. So I'll do that around all of it, including underneath the eaves here. Not that it will really be visible, but I'll know it's there. And then, when all this is dried, we're going to start on the snow effects. And I need to decide if I'm going to glue the sled in place before or after I do the snow effects. I think I'm going to need to kind of do it all at the same time, because I want to get snow underneath, and that will be a little difficult to do if the sled is glued in. But I also want to get the kind of like, so it's going to be this direction and he's going to be taken off like this. So I want to get the snow in underneath. So what I'll probably do is mix the snow up, get the snow over, and then come in with some super glue, press the rocket sled in place like this with the glue, hold it for a bit, maybe try and support it somehow, and then that will look, I think that'll be the best way to do it. So anyway, but for that to happen, I need everything to dry, so that's the painting done. I'll let you know if I decide to do the dry brushing, but I probably won't, because I think that's going to look quite nice how I've done it already. So yeah, next up will be snow effects and sticking the sleigh on. Woohoo! Right, it's time for my snow, and as always, when I'm about to do snow, I drag out my book by Pat Smith here, Setting the Scene, Winter Wargaming, which is one of the best things I've ever bought. I love it, and in here he's got his snow paste mix, which is what I use. So it's 4 parts Woodland Scenic Soft Flake Snow. As you can see, this box is almost empty, but fear not, I have another full one here. 2 parts of PVA and 1 part water. So that's the that's what he suggests, and you can use alternative bonding agents or different whatevers for different effects. So whether you want slushy to icy snow, but I'm going to go with that one because I know that it makes a nice solid looking snow, which is what I want on here, and that's gonna work well. Now I've just refilled my bottle of PVA and I nearly overfilled it, just stopped in time. So yeah, so I've got PVA here, I've got a little jug of water here, and I do have my soft flake snow. So I don't want to overmake, because yeah, that would be silly to overmake. I'm going to open my fresh one. I'm going to use this one for the frosting, because I'm going to do some frosting to put some new snowfall, easy for me to say. So let's get rid of that seal and put that back on before I knock it over. And what I'm going to do is, really need a teaspoon. Let me get a little plastic teaspoon. That's going to be, I have one over here, it's a bit dirty, but doesn't matter. There we are. So we're going to get 2 teaspoons of snow. I can always mix more up. The thing is, it doesn't really keep. So yeah, if you overfill, over mix, then you get me in trouble. Then we're going to do about 1 teaspoon or so of PVA, like that, and then a little bit of water. There we are. And then what I'll do is I'll mix that up. What Like I say, I can always mix some more if I need to, and I probably will need to be honest. See, that's probably just a little bit too much water that I've put in there. It's a little bit watery, not very watery, but a little bit watery. So I'm just going to get a little bit more powder in there and mix that in again to thicken it up. And it's really easy, this stuff. It's a really easy technique and it's really easy to use. It's very hard to make a mistake. It is easy to overmix, but it's hard to make a mistake. So what we're going to do now, I have an old brush. This has been doing sterling work for me this last couple of months, but I think it's getting to the end. These are Elegoo brushes from the Mars. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint this on. And you can use a paintbrush, which is what I'm doing, or I also have a tool that I've used in the past, like a scoopy type tool, which also does a good job. And I'm just going to slap this over like this. I'm not going to totally cover everything, I don't think. I might do in the end. But we're just going to slap this on like this, and you can see just what a great effect it creates. And the reason why I thickened it up some is I really don't want it to be sliding down, which this, even as thick as I've made it, might, because I need to fit Santa Claus's sleigh, don't I? I need to fit the rocket sleigh on here as well before this is dried. So yeah, we're just going to slap that on, and I'll put some music on while I finish this off. Right, that has proven to be almost exactly the right amount. I will mix some more up in a little bit. What I'm going to do now is open this to the shaker side, and I'm just going to shake some over the top, just like this, and that will add a little bit of texture and make it look a little bit more like freshly falling snow than just snow which has fallen ages ago. There we are, a little bit of frosting like on a cake. And now for the risky part, because what I want to do is I'm going to come along and I'm going to attempt to glue this in place like that. So here's hoping that I don't ruin this. You know what, this is going to be better with my thicker super glue, which I'm running out of, which is why I try not to use it as much now. Right, so we'll put some super glue on here, and some super glue on here, and hopefully the liquid content of the snow is going to enable that to set really quick. And once I've done that, I'll mix up a little bit more snow and just touch up the edges. And I might put a little bit onto the rocket sled. So let's hope this works. I'll turn the camera off and stand here and hold this. I've just been trying for a fair few minutes, and I think actually my idea about having it flying up out is just, yeah, it's just not going to work because it's just too heavy, it's not got enough support, and it's just going to be annoying. So what I'm going to do is, instead of that, I'm going to set it on like this, which means that I'll be able to get far more of the attachment of the glue on, and that should then work. And what I'll probably do is do this, leave it to dry overnight, and then tomorrow come in and do the rest of the snow and attach Santa Claus then. So we're just going to run a bead of super glue along here and along here, and just set it on and then walk away. And I think that is going to have to be good enough, unfortunately. I really did want it looking a little bit more dynamic, but you've got to work with the limitations of the materials you're working with, and that's just slightly too heavy on the front, and yeah, I'd need to do a lot more structural stuff to make that work, which I'm not going to do. So there we are. That hopefully is going to look good. I will leave that overnight and we'll come back tomorrow and mix some more of the glue up. More of the glue, some more of the sand up, of the snow up, and apply that, and I'll bring you along when I do that and show you what it looks like. But ultimately, yeah, really pleased with the effect. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like when it's totally done. Oh, look at that. That's dried overnight, and I'm now mixed up another batch, a little bit less than I made yesterday, but I'm just going to put that on these gaps, like here, and I'm also going to put a little bit onto the actual sled, but it's mainly for this, for the ridge where I knocked it off when I was trying to fit the sleigh. So yeah, going really well this, pretty happy with it. Let's get this put on, and then it'll be a case of sticking Santa Claus in place, and also doing some of the cool ideas I've got for his presents, which you will have to wait and see. I might mix this up a little bit dry, to be honest. I tried to mix it dry, but I might have gone a little bit too far. Ah, it's working okay. Right, I'll get this done. Exactly the same job. I'll bring it back. I'll force forward to when I'm going to start putting it onto the sleigh. Right, so these are the tools that I use quite often for doing putting the snow in, the little scoops. And it's just a little bit more accurate than the brush, though it's a bit slower, but it works well. So what we're going to do is just fill those gaps in there behind the sleigh. Like so, there we are. And then I'm just going to put little bits of snow on the wings, as if maybe he's scraped it a bit. Maybe just a little bit on here as well. There we are. That's it. Don't want too much on the sleigh, but I do want some. And then I'll put the rest on the roof around the place. Build it up quite thick in places. There we are. So I'll finish doing this, let that dry, and then we'll stick Santa on and his presents. I'll bring you back when I get to that stage. Nearly done. This is looking awesome. Very, very pleased with how this is looking. Very pleased indeed. Right, let's start building this little diorama. So I've taken Santa Claus off of his base, and he is going to end up being stuck up here like that, right in the front, with his foot on that bar. So what I'm going to do is going to require a little bit of super glue activator to get this right. We'll put a quick blast of super glue activator down here and set him in place like so. There we are. So that's him in place, and what we're now going to do is just start to assemble the rest of this, putting the ammo boxes and what have you in place. So I'm going to have a double stack of these silver ammo boxes at the back of the sled, drop it, typical, like so. There we are. We'll put a little bit more glue on the top of that, and I'll have another one on top, like this. There we are, so that's where that's going to go. And then what I'm going to do other than that is for these, I'm going to have these stacked up along the back. So I'm going to get my tweezers, I'm going to put a bead of super glue along, and then I'll just place these in haphazardly in the back. So let's just zoom in a little bit more, so that's going to be a bit more visible. So I'm just going to put super glue on here, and then drop these in like so. And I'm going to drop them in a bit haphazardly, so they're a bit of a mess, because he is flying crazy. Let's get a green one in next. That can go like there, and then purple one can drop in at an angle. Oh, let's get that in the right place. So yeah, I'm just going to continue doing this. If I can get that to work, there it is, that's where I want it. Put a little bit more super glue in there, and what I can do is, if I want to freeze it in place, just a little bit of activator, and that will sort that out. Right, so yeah, so I'm just going to keep building these up and dropping them in, and then this will be done, bar a little bit of varnish, I think. There we are, so yellow one. Put that to the back. Perfect. That slotted in exactly where I wanted it. There we are, you can see a little bit better there now. So yeah, so I'll keep doing this, and I'll bring you back and show what it looks like when it is completely finished. And there he is, with his jumble of presents in the back. That worked really well. And yeah, he's really pleased with that. I think that's going to look fantastic, and Rosie's going to love it. So that will be put onto the Christmas table, the dining table, as a surprise. I do try and do something. Last year I think I did a dragon, a Christmas dragon. So yeah, that will go onto the dining table, and will be a nice little surprise and a decoration that will come out every year as part of our decorations, along with the Grinch one that I did just the other day. So yeah, winning, getting ahead of this. Managed to get it finished before Christmas. It is the 19th now, so yeah, managed to get that done in good time, and I'm particularly pleased with how my brickwork came out. It was nice to revisit that technique, and that worked really well. So there we are, another project done. Well, there we are. A fun build, a really fun diorama to make, and as I say, I can't wait to see Rosie's face when she sees it. And yeah, I will put that reaction onto the vlog, or maybe I'll talk about it anyway. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this, a really cool thing. Let me know if it has inspired you to make something potentially for your own dining table. I did a Christmas dragon last year, I think, and so that's why I thought I'd do something else this year. So yeah, let me know if it inspires you, but otherwise, thank you just so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Happy Christmas to you all. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the time with your family and with your friends. Those are the most important things. Health, family and friends, top of the list. So yeah, I really hope you have a wonderful time. Thanks for watching. And I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe and stay well.